What if I told you there's a tool, a technology, that's not just older than the pyramids, not just older than agriculture, but older than our entire species, Homo sapiens? It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But it's real, and understanding it completely changes how we see our own history. So what is this ancient mystery? And who could have possibly made it? Let's travel back in time. Way back, not thousands of years, but millions, to a time when our direct ancestors didn't even exist yet. The world was a very different place, roamed by creatures we'd only recognize from fossil records. Yet even in this unimaginably distant past, someone or something was already thinking, planning, and creating. Archaeologists have a name for the earliest stone tool technology, the Oldowan industry. You might have heard of it. These are simple tools, often just a rock with a few flakes chipped off to create a sharp edge. For a long time, we thought the first toolmakers were early members of our own genus, Homo, like Homo habilis, the handy. Man, this made sense, right? Tool making requires intelligence, and we linked that directly to the growth of the human brain. But a discovery in Kenya completely shattered that idea. At a site called Lomekwi 3, researchers found something astonishing: tools. But these weren't Oldowan tools. They were bigger, crudder, and far, far older. How old? A mind-boggling 3.3 million years old. That's 700,000 years older than any known Homo fossil. 700,000 years. Think about that gap. That's almost 3 times the entire existence of our species, Homo sapiens. So, if not our direct ancestors, then who made them? This is where the story gets truly fascinating. The prime suspect is a hominin species called Kenyanthropus platyops, whose fossils were found near the Lomekwi site. Another possibility is an early Australopithecus, a group that includes the famous fossil Lucy. What does this mean? It means the spark of invention, the very idea of creating a tool to solve a problem, didn't begin with us. It began with a much earlier, smaller-brained ancestor. Imagine one of these hominins, long before becoming human, picking up two rocks, not by accident but with a purpose. They strike one against the other, understanding that the sharp flake that breaks off can be used for something. What for? Maybe to cut meat from a carcass, or to break open nuts and bones to get at the nutritious marrow inside. This wasn't just a random act, it was a cognitive leap, the ability to see a future use for a modified object. This is the very foundation of all technology. Every single thing we've created since, from the wheel to the rocket ship to the smartphone you might be watching this on, owes its existence to that first hominin who decided to make a tool. So how were these Lomquian tools made? The technique was different from the later Oldowan tools. It seems they would place a rock, the core, on another stationary rock, an anvil, and then strike it with a third rock, the hammerstone. It's a more basic method, but it worked. It produced sharp-edged flakes that opened up a whole new world of food resources. This discovery forces us to ask some big questions. What does it even mean to be human? For so long, we defined ourselves by our ability to make tools, man the toolmaker. But if tool-making predates our genus Homo, then what truly sets us apart? Is it the complexity of our tools? The way we use language? Our art? The lines have become wonderfully blurred. These 3.3 million-year-old stones are more than just ancient artifacts. They are a profound reminder that the story of ingenuity is far older and more diverse than we ever imagined. It didn't start with a big-brained human ancestor who suddenly had a brilliant idea. It was a gradual process, an evolution of thought and skill that began deep in our family tree. Think about the implications. Our distant, non-human relatives were already problem solvers. They were innovators. They were, in their own way, technologists. This discovery doesn't diminish our own achievements. It enriches our shared story. It connects us to a deeper, more ancient lineage of creators. This also changes how we view primate evolution. We now know that the physical traits needed for tool making, like strong hands and coordinated movements, might have evolved much earlier than we thought. Maybe the very act of making and using tools helped drive our evolution, rewarding those with better dexterity and planning abilities. Could it be that technology didn't just come from us, but actually helped create us? So the next time you use a simple tool, a knife, a hammer, anything, take a moment. Remember its incredibly long history. You are holding the legacy of 3.3 million years of innovation, a legacy that started with an unknown ancestor on the shores of a lake in ancient Africa who picked up a rock and changed the world forever. The search for our origins is a journey filled with constant surprises. What other long-held beliefs about our past will be overturned by the next discovery? What else don't we know about the very beginnings of our story? The ground beneath our feet still holds so many secrets. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. It's discoveries like this that keep history exciting and remind us that there is always more to learn. If you found this as mind-blowing as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into our incredible past. What do you think about this discovery? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.